Hello, my name is Eric, and for the last 17 months, I've been living out of this 2020 Subaru Forester as I'm traveling around the country. For the past 7 days, I've been putting up daily vlogs that show you what it's like to live every single day out of a car. I've been showing you everything from working remotely with Starlink in the middle of nowhere to even exploring natural beautiful places in the country. Today, I want to talk about money. I know it's not the most exciting topic in the world to talk about when you come across a nomad video, but it's a reality we all have to face. Each one of us have to budget in our own special ways in order to live the way we want to live. As a nomad, I have certain expenses I don't deal with, like rent and mortgages, but I also have to deal with things like Starlink and a lot of money and gas. Today, I'm going to show you my monthly breakdown for the last 4 months. Today, I'm going to show you a monthly breakdown for the last 4 months of how much I spent in gas, laundry, car maintenance, and yes, even Starlink. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Okay, so what you're going to be looking at here is a monthly breakdown for 4 months, starting back in May of 2025. And I laugh a little bit because it is currently November of 2025. So you can see how long I've been planning this video. But we're going to take a look at the months of May, June, July, and August. And don't worry, I'm going to break down each month, but I want to quickly just give you an overview of what you're going to be looking at each month. There's going to be 3 things on the screen. There's going to be a summary by category. There's going to be this pie chart off to the right, and there's going to be a section called Other. Now, the summary by category is really what I'm going to mostly concentrate on. These numbers right here, I'm going to highlight them so it's a little easier. These numbers right here are simply just representative over here in the pie chart by colors and percentages to give you an idea of what I spent the most on each month or what I spent the least on each month. For example, and we're going to break down each thing, don't worry, but I just want to give you an example of what you're looking at. Car maintenance here, I did no car maintenance in May. But let's just say, hypothetically, I spent $5,000 in car maintenance that month. Hopefully I'll never spend that much, but you're going to see that would be 73% of what I spent that month in total for all these things over here on the left. 73% of it was car maintenance alone. So it'll just give you a quick little color-coded representation of what I spent each month, the most and the least. So I'm going to take that off. So we're going to break these down in a minute. So I'm going to give you a quick overview of what we're going to be looking at each month. We're going to be looking at how much I spent in gas, groceries, how much I ate out at restaurants, again, how much I spent in car maintenance, laundry, cell phone bill, Starlink, storage unit back home in Florida where I have some personal belongings, car insurance, renter's insurance, health insurance, iCloud storage, Google Cloud storage, Hulu, Apple Music, Sirius Radio, Apple Care for my iPhone, and Other. Now, all these are pretty self-explanatory except for this other one. What will that cover? Other is going to cover anything that's not up here. For example, if I made a purchase of something, like when I had to buy Starlink, or maybe I bought some new shoes, or maybe I bought something like some camera gear or something like that. That's all going to be here in Other. And when it comes to Other, you're going to see that that's going to be listed down here. So again, we're going to go through all these in a minute, but this is going to show you what I spent each month in Other. I'm going to show you for June, July, and August each month, okay? So again, I'm gonna go through each thing. I'm just kind of giving you an overview of what you're gonna be looking at each month. So let's start off in May. Now, obviously, these are gonna change a little bit. So in May, when I started doing this budget list, I think I was in kind of Southern California. I think I was around the Death Valley area, and I was doing decent amount of driving and stuff, so I was spending a lot of money in gas, and that's the first thing I put on the list, gas. How much I spend in gas? Well, obviously, as a nomad living out of his car, I drive a lot more than the average person, so this number is gonna probably be one of the highest, along with groceries here. That's probably pretty high also for most people, but I spend a lot more in gas because I do drive a lot. So that month alone, I spent $430 in gas. In groceries, I spent $550. And occasionally I will go out to a restaurant to eat something. I'm gonna go ahead and roll that up to $200 here. But I mostly cook out of the back of my car where I have a fold-out kitchen. That is why my groceries are much higher than my restaurants pile, because I don't go to a lot of restaurants. First off, restaurants are expensive, and second off, I'm in a lot of remote areas. I don't have the privilege of going to a lot of restaurants because I'm in some pretty remote areas at time. I mostly just buy groceries and then cook out of the back of my car. Now, these categories right here, car maintenance, are usually empty, but I think on the last month in August, you're going to see something there. And for some reason, I forgot to mark my laundry every month. Well, most months. You're going to see that I got a number plugged in there some months, but this is obviously not zero. I definitely did laundry in the month of May. I don't know why I put nothing there. I think I just plain forgot. To give you an average though, what I spend in laundry, when I go to laundromats, okay, that's how I do laundry on the roads, go to laundromats. I usually spend $7 or $8 at a laundromat each time, and I normally go every week and a half to 2 weeks. So roughly I do laundry like 3 times a month is roughly. So let's say $20 roughly in laundry is what I normally spend. But for some reason, I just kept forgetting to put it down. So this is blank, but I definitely did laundry that month. Cell phone bill, $110. We're going to talk about that. It's going to change in the coming months, but we're going to talk about that. But this month I spent $110 for my cell phone bill, and Starlink is $165. I have the unlimited package, the roam package, they call it. And this gives me, again, unlimited internet on the road. I need this. I'm in really, really, really remote areas. I didn't have Starlink. Actually, I didn't have it until May of 2025, and I wish I would have had it earlier. This has really saved me so much. But they do have a lesser plan, $50 for 50 gigs, but I use about 400 gigs a month, so I need the higher plan. So $165 for Starlink. I do have a storage unit back in Florida. $100 is quite expensive for a 3-foot by 5-foot storage unit. But that is what it is. It's a storage unit back in Florida. Car insurance, roughly $160 a month. Renter's insurance. Now, you may be asking yourself, why do you have renter's insurance? You live in a car. You're not renting an apartment or anything. Why do you have that? I looked into it, and one of my biggest fears living on the road is getting my car broken into. I'm in new places all the time. I don't always know how safe an area is. And I am really, really nervous one day that my car is going to get broken into and everything out of it stolen. And I do not have the money to replace any of these things if they get stolen. So I looked into it, and it turns out renter's insurance will cover all the items in your car. I got that quoted by, this is Progressive that I have mine with. And I actually have my car insurance with them, so I bundled it together. And for $37, this gives me peace of mind to know that if my car ever gets broken into, I think I have a $5,000 coverage that I can replace the really big important things in my car. So $37 per month for renter's insurance. Health insurance, $37. Now, this may or may not be high or low for some people. Depends on you, depends on the individual. I work for myself. I do freelance work. I do not work for a big employer who gives me health insurance, so I have to pay out of pocket for my own health insurance. But I do not make a lot of money, so I am on one of the government plans. So that is probably a lot lower than anybody's going to pay out of pocket if they make more money than me, and they have a plan that's not on the government plan. So $37 a month, that is health and dental. Okay, iCloud storage and Google storage. One of these is for work, the Google one, and the other one's for personal, the iCloud one. I have the 2 terabyte plan with Apple, and it's $10 a month. You know, I'm traveling all the time. I'm taking tons of pictures onto my phone. Also, I have a YouTube channel, so I'm recording a ton of video. So I needed their bigger cloud storage plan. So this is the 2 terabyte plan. It costs me $10 a month. It's just what I need. Now this one right here, Google Cloud Storage, I do freelance video editing work, and I have to send files to and from clients all the time. And so I like to separate my iCloud from my Google. This one is for work. This is for personal. Google, $3 a month. This is a 200 gigabyte plan. And this allows me, again, to send files to and from clients. And the nice thing about this one is I can use this as a write-off because this is for work. These next 3 things are services that I just personally like having. I pay for Hulu at $12 a month. I have Apple Music, $12 a month as well. And Sirius Radio, $8 a month. Some people may be wondering, why do you have like Sirius Radio? That thing kind of sucks. I like it. You know, when I first bought my car, it came with 3 months of Sirius Radio for free. And I said the same exact thing to myself. I said, I would never pay for this. But after 3 months of using it, I found a couple of channels on there I really, really enjoy. And even though Apple Music allows you to download music for offline use, I'm in places all the time with no cell phone coverage. And before I had Starlink, I would be in places that had no cell phone coverage, and I would want to listen to the radio. And that's where Sirius Radio comes in. Plus, sometimes you just get tired of what you've downloaded to your phone or anything. So I like having Sirius Radio. And every single year they do the same thing to me. They up their price to $23. They send me an email. I say it's going to be $23 for that. And I say, no, that's too expensive. I don't want that. And every single year they say the same thing. Wait, what if we knock you down to $8 a month? And I say, okay, I'll do it. And this has been going on for like 4 years now. And every single month I just pay $8 a month. And I think it's worth it for a little bit something different than Apple Music. Now my iPhone, I have Apple Care for it. And if you don't have an iPhone, this is Apple's insurance plan. If you drop and break your phone, this plan right here will allow you to get your phone fixed for much, much cheaper than out of pocket. And this is also a write-off for me because I use my iPhone for video for my YouTube. So not only is this peace of mind, but I can use it as a write-off, which is pretty nice. So $10 a month for that. And then we have other. So again, this is going to be all sorts of different things from purchases I made of any different things that are not up here. Now this is quite high for May, and you're going to see why, $900. Scrolling down, these first two are why. Starlink Mini, this is the month I bought Starlink, $400 for that. And Renogy 400 watt solar panel, $450. Now when I first hit the road, I had a 100 watt solar panel by EcoFlow, and it was just not enough. I was really struggling trying to keep my power station. I have an Anchor portable power station, and that's how I run like my car fridge and all these other things, my cell phone and all that other stuff with it. It's a 100 watt panel, and it was just not enough. So I had to go ahead and break down and upgrade to a 400 watt panel. It's expensive, $450, at least that is to me. But it has been so worth it. I've been in the most remote areas with no place to plug in my portable power station and charge it. And this 400 watt panel is giving me power for days, which is so nice. Prior to owning Starlink, the way I got data was strictly through my cell phone bill. So I'm gonna talk about this in a minute and why that's $110. But that is how I got data on the road until I bought Starlink. And that's because, again, I'm in such remote places that my cell phone does not always give me very good internet at all. So I went ahead and broke down and got Starlink here. And $400 was the cost of the hardware itself. Scrolling down a little bit, when you have mail sent to you on the road and you need to have it picked up somewhere, you can use a UPS store or a FedEx store. However, they usually charge you for that. It's usually $5 a package. This one was $10 a package at FedEx. It just depends on location. It's either $5 or $10. Just depends on location. But I did have some mail sent to me. I think it's these two items right here. I think the Starlink I had sent to FedEx, and I think I had the Renogy 400 watt panel sent to UPS. So that's what those are. Okay, $26 in drinks. I was in Las Vegas, and I was quite bored, and I wanted to go out one night. And I'm not a big drinker, but every once in a while, I just want to get out and mingle, get out of the car and go do something. So I just went to a bar one night and had some drinks. So $25 worth of drinks there. All right, I have a 1 gallon, 5 pound propane tank that I use for cooking. In fact, I have 2 of them. And that will need to be refilled about every 2 months for me. And so it's usually under $5 for me to fill it up. And you can see that's exactly what it was. $5 to fill up my propane tank. And as a person living out of the car, in order to get showers, I have a couple ways to do it. I can go to a Planet Fitness. But I was in a pretty remote area, Death Valley, and there are no Planet Fitnesses anywhere near Death Valley. But Death Valley did have some showers you can pay for, and they are $10. So that is what that is there for. So these all together came up to $900, and all this stuff together for the month came out to $2,700. Now you're going to see that's a lot more than what I spend most months, but that's because of these two purchases down here, $850 worth of things that I don't usually buy. And again, all these numbers over here represent this pie chart over here, and the colors just help you color coded. The green right here, 30%, that's what I spent the most on. What is green? Well, that's groceries. 23%, this kind of gray, blackish color, it's gas. And then all these things down here, the 1%, like this light blue down here is Apple Care. You know, again, $10 for that. So if you want to freeze the frame right there and kind of look at that, you're more than welcome to, but I'm not going to break that down. It's the exact same over here. All right, let's jump over to June. And we're going to look at the same things. We're going to look at gas, $330. Now that's $100 less than what I spent last month. Oh, but I spent about $100 more in groceries. Never mind. So they really offset each other. Restaurants, I also ate out a lot more there. You know, usually when I go to restaurants, it's because the weather's bad. Like it's raining or it's super cold. Or occasionally I will just treat myself and I'm just like, I don't feel like cooking. I don't feel like using any of the money I spent on groceries. Lucky for me, I spent nothing in car maintenance. Now laundry, again, this is where I just didn't update this as much as I should. I definitely spent more than $6 for the month in laundry. Laundry mats on average, again, are $7 or $8. Like some of them could be as low as $6. It depends on where I'm at. But again, I usually do this about 3 times a month. So this should have been closer to $18, maybe even $20. So just say that every month I spend about $20 in laundry. That's just normal. All right, here's why I want to talk about cell phone bills, because this is obviously a big change. Cell phone bill here in the month of June was $20 and May was $110. Why the difference? All right, before I had Starlink, May is the month I bought Starlink. Before I had Starlink, I had 2 lines on my cell phone. I had a T-Mobile line and I had an AT&T line. And the reason I had 2 lines is because that meant I had double the coverage for data. Again, I'm in some very, very remote places, and T-Mobile is my normal cell phone plan. So if we go back over to June, spend the $18, T-Mobile is my normal cell phone bill, and that is what I spend each month on T-Mobile. Why so low? Well, that is because for 16 years, I worked at an Apple store, and Apple has a really, really good deal with all the major carriers, AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon for all their employees. You get something like 75% off the normal cost, and you spend a lot less than the average consumer does on your cell phone bill. It was just a perk of working with Apple. Now, I haven't worked with Apple for like 3.5 years now, but T-Mobile didn't know that. They just kept charging me only $20 a month. So I was like, okay, I will take that. Again, jumping back over to May, the reason it's $110 is because prior to owning Starlink down here, I was paying for T-Mobile and AT&T. So I had picked up AT&T as a secondary line on my phone for secondary data. Meaning if my T-Mobile line was not showing any data, I had a second fallback plan, my AT&T line, that might provide me data. And vice versa, right? AT&T sometimes didn't have any data, but T-Mobile did. And my AT&T was $90 a month, and my T-Mobile was $20 a month. So that is why it's $110. But you're going to see that that's going to change over the next couple of months, mostly that $20. Looking back at June, Starlink's is $0. And that's because when I bought the Starlink back in May and paid that $165, that cost also covered, I bought it kind of like in the middle of the month or something like that, and that covered my month of June. So that's why I'm not paying anything in Starlink there. It was like a credit. Okay, these right here, I'm just gonna skip over every single month because they don't change. If for some reason they do change, I'll talk about them, but they mostly stay the same. I put them on there because they are part of my monthly expenses, but they don't change every month. But what does change is my other, and I spent a lot less in June versus compared to May. So let's go down and take a look at what I spent on my other. Now, again, for showers, I have to find places that offer showers on the road, and usually they cost $5, $10 is pretty average. When I was passing through the town of Lone Pine, California, very small town, it's near Mount Whitney, which is the tallest peak in the country. A lot of hikers go in that area, and there's a little hostel. And you didn't have to be staying at the hostel to use their showers. It was only $10 to use their showers, and that's what I did. Spent $10 on a shower there. Propane. I mentioned that earlier in May that I filled up my propane tank for $5 here, and that I usually only fill up my propane tank every 2 months. Well, over in June, I bought it again. That's because I have 2 propane tanks. So the other one must have gotten emptied on me. And $7 is actually pretty high for me. I usually spend closer to like $4 to $5. So $7 is a little bit much, but still that usually lasts me about 2 months. Okay, I had some more mail sent to me apparently, so it's $5 to go pick it up. If I have a FedEx package or a UPS package sent to a USPS location, like just a post office, they also charge a $5 pickup fee. So that's what I did there. I got some more showers at a place called Convict Lake. This is outside of Mammoth Lakes. It was $10 for that. Again, just no Planet Fitnesses anywhere in the area, so I had to pay for showers. Okay, I had gone to like an outdoors store, and I have a water bladder that I put in my backpack when I go hiking, and there's a filter on that so that you can like scoop up like lake water and then like drink that lake water with this water filter. It filters out all that water. Hikers use them all the time, and I needed that. It was $20 for that. So okay, I also do a lot of camping in remote places where I've actually had some mice get into my engine. So this mouse repellent I bought here and a couple other things came out to $25. And this right here, this place called Rainbow Pools, this is outside of Yosemite. It's about 45 minutes down the street. It's a beautiful little recreational area where there's this little like waterfall and like this little pond thing you can jump into and swim around and everything. And it costs $10 to get in there for the day. However, I also lost my Apple Watch there. So I don't think it was worth $10 because I lost a $400 Apple Watch. So blah. Beautiful location though. Really beautiful. I'd recommend going there sometime. Okay, I had 4 different mail items sent to a UPS store, and those were all $5 a piece. So that's why it's $20 there. So I had 4 things, 4 times 5, $20. And I do buy these dehydrated meals from like REI because these are really, really great, quick meals that I can make with some boiling water and allows me to eat an entire meal for pretty cheap, and they're really good. And I bought a couple of those going up to $35. Ooh, I got a haircut, $42. And it looks like I picked up another shower in Kings Canyon National Park that cost me $4.50. So for that month, all these things up here, including the other, came out to $1,800 for the month. And again, this pie chart over here represents that 41% of that, the green, was groceries, and 20% of that was gas, and going down to the same things before. Usually it's the 1% is usually always the same. So again, you can freeze frame that if you want to and take a look at that. But let's jump over to July. We're going to talk about gas, $450. So that's more like average for me. I know in June I spent a little bit less, but that's a little bit more average for me. Groceries, kind of the average again, $530. Restaurants, does look like I went out to eat a little bit more, and luckily I did not spend any money in car maintenance. Laundry, again, that should be closer to $20. I just don't think I updated it. Cell phone bill, back down to that $20. Starlink, now it's a little bit different here, $130 for Starlink, not $165. $165 is the normal price for a big reason I'm not going to go into. They had given me a small credit, and so that is why that's a little bit cheaper there. So it was only $130 that month for Starlink. Again, I'm just going to skip over all these. They're the same, but other is quite different at only $4. Probably, I was going to say it was a shower. No, I went to go visit my brother in Reno. He was downtown staying at a hotel, and I had to park my car there, and it was $4. So again, that month for all these things came out to, I'm going to go ahead and just ring this up to $1,800. And again, green, 30% groceries, 25% gas. Those two right there, the gas and the groceries, there's pretty much going to go neck and neck. 25, 30%. Those are the bulk of what I spent. Again, you can freeze frame that and look at that pie chart if you want. Let's jump over to August though real quick. Let's look at the top contender. Now this is quite low, $150 for gas. After July, I had started dating someone. She lived in Oakland, California, and I was staying at her house a lot. And so I just wasn't doing that much driving. I wasn't doing that much traveling. And therefore, I wasn't spending that much in gas, which is actually quite nice. I was also spending a little bit less in groceries because she was doing a lot of cooking. And so I just didn't have to go to the grocery store as much. So a little bit cheaper there at $315. And then restaurants also quite less at $65. Again, she was just cooking a lot, and we were just eating at home a lot. Now I did do some car maintenance here. So car maintenance, I did do a tire rotation. I had a 12 volt in my car that went out. That's where I plug up like my car fridge too and things. And that had need to get replaced. And then I've also got an oil change. So that came out to $250. So that's obviously going to differ for every month. Most months I don't spend anything, but some months I have to spend something. And now laundry doesn't say anything here, and that actually could be accurate because again, I was dating someone. I was talking about it up here. I was dating someone, and she has a washer and dryer at her place. And so I was probably just doing a lot more laundry at her place. So that probably is accurate. I probably didn't go to any laundromats that month. All right, now cell phone bill does change here from $60. The past 2 months were $20. First month was $110. This goes to $60. So why a different price? Okay, as I mentioned, working for Apple, they gave me a huge discount on my monthly cell phone bill. Well, it changed this month, and I called T-Mobile and I said, why did this change? And they said, oh, well, we just don't offer that discount anymore. So now we're offering this discount. $60 is still a lot cheaper than what most people pay for a cell phone bill. I know most people pay at least $100 or more. So I know this is quite less, but it's also a lot more than $20. So I was like, oh, well, that sucks. So, but that's what my T-Mobile line was. I had dropped my AT&T line altogether because I had picked up Starlink, and this is the normal price, $165. So cell phone bill the next couple of months after this were $60. And I'm going to skip over all these again. No sense talking about the same things. Now, other was $415. Why did I spend $450 on other? Okay, I had to go to REI and get a new collapsible sink. A collapsible sink is like a little camp sink that actually folds down to stow away, so it just doesn't take up as much space. And this allows me to wash my dishes in and things. And I had one for about a year, and it just got grungy, gross, and started breaking on me. So I had to pick up another one, and that was $27. And then the way I record my videos for my YouTube channel is all on my iPhone, and I do have a wireless microphone. It's the DJI Mic Mini, and the way it works is you have a wireless mic that you clip to yourself, and then that wireless microphone transmits all the sounds to a wireless receiver, and that wireless receiver plugs into the bottom of your phone. Now, I had actually dropped my phone, and when I did, that wireless receiver was plugged in, and that wireless receiver took the brunt of the fall, and it broke the little adapter that plugs into the bottom of your phone. So I had to get that adapter from DJI, and it was $45 for that replacement. Oh, and this is the month that I went to Burning Man. It was $350 for the ticket for that. So Again, that month, all these things, 1835. This is more on par. 1835 for August, July up here, 1798. Let's just say 1800. June, 1809. Let's just say again 1800. You're going to see that that's pretty much where I spent. 1800 is the kind of going monthly expense that I spend personally a month for as being a nomad. Now, obviously, if none of this stuff existed, then obviously if none of that stuff existed, then obviously this number would go away and this would drop, 1600. So that would be nice. If I didn't go to Burning Man, $350 there, this would drop to, like $100 here that I was spent. So, it changes every month. So that is it, except for May, back where I had spent these two very large ticket items. But, this is not something I spend every month. So, it's mostly $1,800 a month. All right, well, again, not the most exciting video in the world, but I thought it was nice to show you a nice breakdown of what it looks like month by month, at least over a 4-month period. I considered doing an entire year, but I thought that would just be too long of a video. And I want to do more than just 1 month because I don't think that's an accurate depiction of what I actually spend per month. You can see 1 month, $2,700, next month, $1,800. So it's a big jump. So it depends each month. For example, this month alone, I've got to do a lot of preventative car maintenance things. Like I got to get spark plugs and I got to change out my differential fluid. And I'm looking at some other pretty big expenses and it's going to be several $100s for me. So this month is going to be quite different from like last month's expenses for me. So again, I want to give a quick little breakdown of what it looks like as a nomad living out of a car. I don't have an RV and I don't stay at campgrounds, which can get quite expensive. I mean, you're looking at roughly $50 a month for a campground, and some of them can be even more expensive than that. People with RVs who need power hookups and all that stuff can get way more expensive. So I save a lot of money there. I don't pay money in rent. I don't have a mortgage. But I do, again, have things like Starlink. I pay a lot more things maybe in car maintenance, obviously a lot more in gas. And then there's a few things there that I like in my life. I like having Hulu, I like having Apple Music, and I like having the Sirius radio. I think compared to most people, that's pretty low. I only have 3 services. Most people have, ballpark of 10 or so services they pay for. So I think that's quite cheap to just have like 3 services that I pay for the month. I'm going to go ahead and end this video here because I think it's going on about 30 minutes, getting a little bit long, and it's getting dark and I really want to make dinner. So I hope that helps. As I mentioned in the very top of this video, this is a 30-part series. Now, most videos are a lot more engaging than this. This is just a topic that I've been wanting to talk about for a while. As you can see, my breakdown for each month started back in May. And so I really wanted to go over this video for quite some time now. But tomorrow, I'm going to get right back into daily living out of a car. Now, come back tomorrow because I'm going to show you 2 things in that video. One is I'm going to show you how I make a little extra money by doing DoorDash. As I mentioned, I have some pretty big car expenses coming up. It's going to be several $100s for me to do some things to my car, and I need to make some extra cash pretty quickly. So I'm going to take you along as I do DoorDash in St. George, Utah, and what that's like. But I'm also going to talk about why I chose the nomad lifestyle. So tune in for that one. Until next time, thanks for escaping normal life with me.